Hello, welcome back to the Create Eudaimonia podcast. My name is Christina Angelos and I'm your host, and we're going to be talking all about how to create a life of eudaimonia, which is the ancient Greek philosophy for sustained happiness and human flourishing. And eudaimonia is such a beautiful word because it embodies all of the things that it takes to create sustained joy in your life and true fulfillment as a human being. And so in order to really create eudaimonia, it starts with your mindset. And we did a whole episode just about mindset and how your thoughts are so important in determining how your life will play out. And so go back and watch those previous episodes. But today's episode, we're going to be focusing on the topic of gratitude, because gratitude is one of those things that sounds so cliche and like, oh yeah, just like be grateful and then you'll be happy. But there's science that proves that gratitude does in fact change the chemistry of your brain, and it rewires your brain, therefore rewiring and recalibrating your whole life. And so gratitude is so powerful, especially when you are mindful and practice gratitude daily and multiple times throughout your day, not just like once a day, but then weave in gratitude throughout every little moment of your day. And so for me, this gratitude practice actually started like in my childhood. Every single night, my family, my sisters, my mom, and we would all sit down and we would do a prayer, and we would thank God for our health. We would say, thank you for my eyes that see, my ears that hear, my nose that smells, my feet that walk, my hands that can create. We would recite this prayer. We actually would say it in Greek, but we knew what the words meant. And it was just like this daily reminder to be like, no matter how hard the day felt, no matter how difficult it was, no matter what struggles we were going through at the time, you know, our childhood wasn't like the easiest always, but whatever we were going through, especially like even in the winter times, it's like sad, cold, gloomy, all the things. But it's like every night when we would sit down together, we were reminded of the beauty of our health, and just to be grateful for our hands that can do things and our eyes that can see the world. And we would also say, thank you, Lord, for the sun and the flowers and the sky. And we would recite these things. And like as a kid, I remember sitting there on my knees and like actually thinking about it, and was like, yeah, like that is amazing that we have a sky and like a sun and, you know, birds and trees and all of these beautiful things in our world. And it just like grounds you in reality for what you do have and what all human beings intrinsically are entitled to, which is being in nature and having like a healthy body. It's like so important to not take these things for granted, but to really appreciate them and notice them in your daily life. And even if like you don't have like the things in your external reality that you think will make you happy, like on the internet, I'm sure it's like you see this person has this materialistic item, or this person has this house or this vacation or this external thing or that external thing or this or that, and it's like you think that all of these other things are going to make you happy, and so you kind of like have these thoughts that cycle in your brain and like make you depressed and sad and compare, and you know, like that kind of sends you into like a downward spiral of like depression and anxiety and like wanting and craving more and not feeling like you are enough. And so what gratitude does, it kind of pulls you out of that little spiral or that comparison game, and it kind of grounds you and puts you back into your own body, into your own circumstances, into your own life. And you remind yourself, wow, like thank you for the clothes that I do have. Thank you for all of the like beautiful amenities I do have in my house. I have running water, I have electricity, I have air conditioning, I have 4 walls, I have a beautiful, comfortable bed, I have a beautiful family who loves me, I have a healthy body that I'm able to create, I'm able to speak, and I'm able to share things, and I'm able to learn things. I have a brain that's functioning and working, that I'm able to share my wisdom and share my knowledge with other people. Like just kind of like reframing you know, what you do have and being grateful for all of the little things. And then what happens chemically too, like inside of your brain, when you tell yourself like what you're grateful for consciously, and you can do this by actually writing it down in the morning or at night every single day to program it into your body, because when you write things down, like your hands are moving and your brain is memorizing it. And so the act of writing it down is so powerful, and you're really memorizing and downloading the information into your subconscious mind, into like the background programming of your mind, and you are telling like that automatic part of your brain that thinks, you know, without you realizing it, that you are grateful for these things. And so it's like, it can feel hard at the beginning too, because like at the beginning when you're writing these things down, it feels very repetitive. And it's like you wake up and you write down, I am grateful for my bed, I am grateful for my clothes, I am grateful for my health, I am grateful for my eyes that see, I am grateful for my ears that hear. And you write those 3 things down, and then you do it every day, every day, every day, every day, every morning or every night, and you just keep writing it and keep doing it. What you're really doing is you're reprogramming your thoughts and your default. I like to call this like the default thoughts, because the default thoughts that are in your mind and your subconscious are the thoughts that are the most important. And so these default thoughts are what's actually running your life. And so the first thing in order to creating eudaimonia, creating this life of spiritual fulfillment and purpose and freedom and abundance and love and true joy, is the first step to creating that eudaimonia is to get out of the autopilot, to get out of like what your mind is automatically thinking, these cycles of thoughts that you're having of, oh my gosh, oh, woe is me, oh, this day is so hard, oh, I don't want to go up, I don't want to get up, like, oh, like there's nothing to eat, there's nothing to wear, oh, like it's such a gloomy day, like, oh, like these are like the thoughts that are like the default thoughts, the autopilot thoughts. They're negative, and they're honestly like just not nice sometimes too. They're like, the default thoughts really can get to you and bring you down and like really tug down your spirits and make your spirits low and negative and unhappy and unfulfilled. Because when you think a negative thought of like, oh, I don't have enough, oh, I don't have this, or oh, I don't have that, then throughout your day you are also like, something small happens and then you're like so upset about it, and then the next thing happens, someone cuts you off on the road, and then it's like this big deal and you're like so upset, and then your mood is just like downward spiraling for the rest of the day. And so you can never get to an elevated state to create or to produce something meaningful or to help someone else or to do something kind for someone else or to create an impact in the world, because you're so like low, you're not able to do the things that will actually make you happy or actually bring you joy or actually bring you fulfillment, because your thoughts are at that low place. And so what gratitude does is it brings our negative default thoughts, like those default of like, woe is me, my life sucks, I don't have enough, I will never have enough, I'm broke, I'm this, I'm that, like all of these like negative default thoughts. It's like when you start to flip the script and start to rewrite these thoughts, and you write them down on paper every day, and you say consciously, I have enough. Like you write that down. I have enough things. I have a beautiful home. I have enough clothes. I have more than enough clothes. I have beautiful clothes. I have very fashionable clothes. I love everything about my home. I love everything about my life. I love everything about my day. And you start to rewrite things. And also not just like writing things that are like lies. You don't want to write like a lie. Like if you don't like, let me think of a good lie. If you don't like love your car right now, you can just say, I am so grateful that I get to save up for my dream car today. And so even that, instead of saying like those default thought might be like, oh my gosh, my car is so run down, it's so crappy, it's literally gonna like stall on the side of the road. I've been there, literally. I've had a car that was like so old and disgusting, and I literally rear-ended someone twice in one day because the brakes were so bad. And I remember being in that car and like hating it, but also just like thinking to myself, like, this is temporary and I know that I'm saving up for my new car. And so it's like the way that you look at the situation and the way that you experience it and the thoughts that you tell yourself about that situation changes literally everything. Because then instead of being like in that negative loop, you're turning it into a positive loop and you're saying, I am saving for this new car. And then you're pairing that gratitude with action. And so I think that's a big part of why gratitude really, really works for me, is because I pair what I'm grateful for with some type of action throughout my day. And I really kind of like make it click even further and validate it as true in my day. And so, for example, going back to the car thing, it's like I would say to myself, this is temporary and I am saving for my new car. And so what I would do is I would work, and part of my paycheck, I would save it and literally see the money go to my savings account so that I can save up for that new car. And so the action is the actual act of transferring money and saving money to fulfill that new goal or that new dream. And so that's what the thing that I do now too. Whenever I have a new goal, or I really, I feel that desire for something, I feel that want, like that longing or that wanting, I will say I'm grateful for where I am now. I'm so proud of myself now, but I also am working towards this goal by doing this action. And so just to kind of bring it into context for like my life right now, of like where I'm at and everything, like for example, right now, one of my main goals is to grow my art business and to expand my love for philosophy and enriching our lives and bringing creativity into our daily routines and sharing all of this emotional and spiritual support for you guys. And so my goal is to grow a following and to grow a community of really spirit-led, beautiful people who care about these topics. And so instead of saying to myself, no one cares, no one's watching, why are you even trying, like this is such a waste of time, like I've had these thoughts go through my mind before, or thoughts of like I don't know, just like negative thoughts like that are telling me to like give up or to stop. And I always try to flip the script, I thought of it. The thought that I always have is like, I'm not doing enough, or I'm never gonna be like good enough or good enough. And so this is like me trying. And so the way that I flip the script lately from that negative to a positive mindset shift is like, I'm like, okay, I'm not doing enough. I am doing enough. I'll tell myself that, like, I am doing enough. One, I am important enough just for being me. I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I don't need to create something crazy in order to be considered valuable. I am already valuable, because I think for me, I was tying my value to the work I was producing. And so kind of like detaching from that and like just accepting that I love who I am, no matter what I do, no matter what I produce, no matter what paintings I make, no matter how many podcast episodes I record, no matter what is happening in my life, I still know that I am valuable and that my life is full, like regardless, and accepting that like I am worthy and I am good enough. I think that's a big like mindset problem that maybe a lot of creatives are going through. It's like, it's tough to have that like good outlook and that positive outlook that, even though nothing is happening yet, it's like you feel like you should give up, but then there's like that part of you that's like, I can't give up. It's like you gotta just keep doing it. And so I switched that mindset. So now I tell myself, I'm so proud of my progress that I've made so far. I'm so proud that I've continued to do what I love every single day. I'm so proud of myself for continuing to show up regardless of if anyone is listening or not. And it's like, I am so proud of like everything and every small little micro piece of action that I've taken. And I sit in that feeling of gratitude for all the hard work that I've already put in, and all of the the love I've poured into my business, into creating, into teaching, all of the time and energy, all of the things that I've learned. And that's the other thing too. Sometimes I feel like in the past, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm learning and I'm learning and I'm learning, and it's not doing anything, and it's such a waste of my time, and I'm not actually like implementing all these things that I'm learning, and like your thoughts are like, just want to tell you that you're worthless all the time. But you can't listen to that voice. You can't listen to that negativity. And so that's why gratitude and the reprogramming with writing down what you're grateful for is so powerful, because it takes those, those nasty thoughts that are not true, and you are able to catch the thought and then snag it and stop it and rewrite that thought and rewrite the script. And instead of saying, I'm not doing enough, you say, I am doing enough, and I am proud of myself, and I am taking the action. And then you continue to prove it to yourself by taking the inspired action. And so that in itself, just doing the thing and showing yourself and proving to yourself that you can do it, and in like being patient with your growth and patient with your progress, and acknowledging that your results are not going to happen overnight. Like, you're not going to be able to save up for that whole car payment within the span of 2 days, or even a week, or even a month. It might take 5 months, it might take 6 months, it might take a year, it might take 2 years, but eventually, if you just keep sticking to the plan, you keep sticking to the script, you will eventually get the thing that you ultimately wanted. And it's a journey, right? It's like literally just like a journey of growth and development and discovery. And honestly, at the end of the day too, it's like we're just all trying to do life as best as we can, and it just, practicing gratitude makes this journey of life so much more flawless and joyful and simple and happier and more positive. Because ultimately having a positive, grateful mindset is what's going to lead you to creating eudaimonia. Because then, when you are in that positive state and you are elevated and you're happy and you are grateful for what you already have, and you're not doubting yourself, and you're inspired, and you're just like producing and creating and taking that action, what then happens is you start to snowball, and you start to create more, and you start to do more, and you start to love what you're doing even more. And it trickles into every other little part of your life. And then when you're like at a coffee shop and you're just like in line and you're waiting for your coffee, and you see someone with like a beautiful shirt on, you have that joy that's already built up within yourself, because you've filled and poured in that gratitude into your own heart, that then when you see someone at the coffee shop, you're like, oh my gosh, I love, your colorful top. Can I buy you your coffee today? I don't know, like if you're like feeling like that joy in you, and you're just like, I just want to buy the person behind me a coffee. And then it's like you bring them joy, and you're spreading that positivity and that warmth that's inside of you, and you're bringing it out to the world, and you're sharing it and pouring joy into other people's lives too, which ultimately is what I think creates the most fulfillment and satisfaction and, personal like joy, personal like satisfaction, personal, I don't know, I guess satisfaction is the good word, but that's what fulfills your spirit and brings you spiritual joy and flourishing, is when you're able to share that joy into the life of someone else, into the life of your sister, your friend, or a complete stranger that you just met. Like seeing someone else experience joy because of something you did or something that you said or something that you did for them, like that brings you the most joy. And I've experienced this myself because when I used to teach, I used to do these in-person watercolor paint and sip parties. And it started because I would do these meditative paintings all by myself at my desk to help my own self. And while I would paint, I want to show you guys some. While I would paint, I would sit in silence and I would think to myself, you know, what I was grateful for, and I would just meditate in silence and in stillness, and I would just do these like abstract paintings by myself. Okay, so again, I'm like taking the action myself, I'm doing the thing myself, I'm reprogramming my default thoughts for myself, and I'm really pouring into myself and like letting go of any stress from the day or any anxiety or any frustration or anything that was bothering me, pent up energy, resentment, you know, grief, whatever it was that was like bothering my heart, I would just let it out through my hands into these abstract lines on the page. And so what happened next was, because I did this so many times, and I have a giant stack of these because I do them so much and I love doing them, is I then started teaching classes and teaching other people how to use an abstract squiggly line to express their own emotions and their own inner world and their own trials, their own tribulations, you know, whatever was bothering them. And I would talk about it as we painted. And I would talk about eudaimonia and how to create spiritual joy and spiritual freedom. And I would share these philosophies with the class, and we would talk about it together, and we would paint and just like let our minds drift off into another world together. And what happened in those classes were so powerful and so transformative. The people left like thanking me, it's like so genuinely, just like so grateful. And they were like, thank you for doing this. Thank you for showing us. Thank you for enlightening us with these philosophies and enriching our lives and bringing us this joy into our lives from these abstract watercolor paintings. They were like, I haven't painted since I was in kindergarten. I haven't painted, you know, since I was like in high school. And this brought me back to my childhood. It brought me back so much joy and peace and fulfillment and just satisfaction. And I would see this like light bulb, this spark, this creativity, this inner child reemerge from this sad adult. And I saw that sad adult become this happy, like joyful individual who is so full of gratitude and so full of just spiritual fulfillment and spiritual joy because of these little paintings. And so to me, like from my life experiences so far, this has been the most satisfying thing for me to do ever, is to teach other people how to paint in this abstract way and showing them how to channel their emotions into this abstract line and giving them an outlet and giving them this tool to create mental, emotional, and spiritual peace in their heart and soul. And so I love these workshops. And I also have a free 7-day watercolor challenge for you guys. It's linked in the show notes. And it's a free course. There are 7 lessons, and I show you exactly how to do this and how to do this meditative abstract painting. And these lessons are so potent and so valuable and so good. I would charge for the workshops in person, but these recorded videos are exactly what I used to teach in those workshops, but I have them linked for you for free. They're only going to be free until the end of May. So if you're watching this after May, I'm sorry. They are now for sale on my website because they are that good, but you're going to want to just purchase the course. It is so good. You're going to really fall in love with the act of meditative, prayerful painting and finding that inner joy and gratitude. I tell you all of this because I want you to also think of something that you can do today in your life, what you can do to fill up your own cup, to create joy and create gratitude in your own life. Maybe it's cooking cookies or making like a fresh batch of carrot cake muffins with frosting on them. And maybe it's like making those amazing homemade desserts and taking them to your neighbor or taking them to work with you or bringing them to your next family party and bringing joy into other people's lives. That is how my mother-in-law and my grandma's, that's like literally their love language, and their way of like creating eudaimonia in their life is through food and through cooking. And so don't underestimate the power of other creative outlets that you have within your own life. For me, it's obviously creating paintings and drawings, but for you, it might look like cooking. For you, it could also look like flower arrangements. Maybe you are literally like obsessed with making like fun little whimsical flower arrangements, and you love going to Trader Joe's and picking a bunch of flowers and making really cute arrangements, and then you gift them to a friend or a coworker or literally a random stranger in the streets, and you make someone's day with it. And maybe you even start to host your own flower arranging workshops at your apartment. I don't know. But the point is that you have to experiment and do fun activities that light your own soul on fire, that bring you spiritual fulfillment and joy and create that inner peace within yourself. And then once you have established that foundation and you do that thing over and over and over again, and you can do it like basically in your sleep because you love it so much and it doesn't feel like work. And when you're doing it, you feel like time itself completely stops and nothing else matters in the world because you're just so in love with what you're doing. Then you can take that thing, that cooking or flower arranging, painting, drawing, whatever it is, and you can start to do it with other people and give it to someone or teach someone or show someone or inspire someone else to do it as well. And then you are expanding your eudaimonia footprint in the world. And that's ultimately what's going to create that flourishing eudaimonia in your own heart and your own soul. So this was a great episode today, guys. I loved everything we talked about today. Make sure to send this video to a good friend who wants some inspiration and motivation and light in their life. Share this video. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, like and follow, and I will be posting our next video next week. And I want to talk to you guys next week about creative endeavors. We're gonna kind of get a little bit off topic from our philosophies, but I want to kind of bring you guys behind the scenes into my creative practice next week and kind of show you what it's like to be a very multi-passionate creative and to really like trust your creative intuition. So next week's episode is going to be kind of fun and I love it. So without further ado, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching and we'll talk soon. Bye.